Hey, if you're looking for what is probably the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, even track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. And if you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, type in getjobber.com/Keith. And if after the trial you decide you want to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith.
What the hell are we going to talk about?
How I'm Keith Kelfus in the No Bitch Zone.
That's it?
And you're?
I'm Bobby Walker with the Untrapped Podcast. We want to remind you guys of one. I think we just started. That was the beginning, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we just want to remind you all of one thing.
Don't be a bitch!
Don't be a bitch in the No Bitch Zone. Keith, do you know what a bitch is?
Yeah, it's a code word for victim.
Yeah, exactly. A bitch is someone that doesn't pursue their goals or their dreams because of their own fears or because of what other people may say, think, or do. And at the end of the day, it's someone that doesn't have personal accountability. So don't be a bitch. Be the guy that goes out there, chases the dreams, achieves the goals. And honestly, it doesn't even matter if you achieve them. It just matters if you're running towards them. So that's the No Bitch Zone.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And my podcast, with the Untrapped Podcast, we got Quentin Howell here from Digital Dream Studios.
Yeah.
I got that down.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. God, I hate his voice. Can we turn him down or something? This is...
I'll back the microphone.
No, you sound great. I'm just like, you got our little like tinny empty voices. Then you got Barry White over here that just sounds sexy. So
You really do have a deep voice, Quentin.
Yeah. Yeah. And my podcast is actually called Journey of a New Entrepreneur. It's just the home of the No Bitch Zone. So
Yeah.
yeah. So let's just set the stage for everyone here. Is that cool?
Oh, yeah.
So right now in this moment, we're in Orlando, Florida. We're actually sitting in the office of TRT Pressure Washing and Window Cleaning, rated the top pressure washing company in the country, according to my own website. So that's pretty cool. And, but no, we're sitting here and Keith just got done speaking at the IWCA event this morning and honestly just gave me the privilege of coming and hanging out over here. And I got to meet Quentin for the first time, which is cool because I've seen your work online. So we're just sitting here, just kind of chilling, talking, and we thought, man, let's record a podcast. Let's do this thing. We both have podcasts. And fun fact for all of Keith's listeners, because my listeners know this already because I've shared the story a cajillion times. We're having this conversation because of Keith. Everything that's happening right now, the building we're in and the wrapped cars and trucks out front and back and the warehouse and the logos on the wall and the fact that my life changed forever and I've got people that are helping me get to where I need to be. It happened. Oh, gosh. Well, it was 4 years ago. I'll give the short version of the story. I was sick and tired of my career and I was looking for like a side gig to start and make it my main gig. And I stumbled across some, little, I say that affectionately, you're just cute and little Keith, some little guy on YouTube, big personality, just little guy, and stumbled across a video of someone saying, here's how you can start a window cleaning company for no money. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. The no money part, because window cleaning is definitely beneath me. So I thought, and I watched this little 10-minute video of some dude walking into a Home Depot saying, here's how you can do it. Buy these 4 things. He walked out front, said, here's a window, charge $3 for a window that looks like that. I saw the video and I thought, I'd never clean windows because, again, I'm far too good for such a thing. And pride cometh before a fall. I told my son who walked by, I said, watch this video. This is crazy stuff. If I lost my job tomorrow, this is what I would do to figure it out. And sure as shit, about 2 hours later, I got a phone call and found out I was losing my job. So the next morning, my son and I drove to Home Depot. We pulled out Keith's video. We watched the video. We bought 2 of everything. And we've done, we're not lighting the world on fire, but we've changed our lives and we've sprayed almost $2 million of water on people's houses since then. So it's been a pretty cool deal. And Keith, you were the catalyst and I appreciate it. So to be here in my office with Keith effing Kalfus is like poetic, just to like, oh my God, this is like the guy. I was just telling my office manager, I'm like, this is the guy. He's why you got a job. This is awesome. So thank you, man. And I know you hear these stories all the time because I've seen them online about you all the time. And I know it's got to feel good when you hear them, and it should. And you've earned it because you've helped change a lot of lives. And you're just a real person that lets people look in. And frankly, a lot of my style, again, for the people that don't know me, the people on Keith's show here, my style is first, the no BS approach, but 2, letting people see how the sausage is made, like the bad stuff. And you are a big influence on that because you do that with your stuff. You'll have a 1-hour video where you're just kind of ranting and crying about how shitty your day's been. And that's like the most valuable stuff to like new entrepreneurs. Because when you're a new entrepreneur, you feel lonely and you also only see what other people want you to see. And other people only want you to see the highlight reel. So whenever you start searching to solve that loneliness as an entrepreneur and you get on Facebook or you go to YouTube or whatever, trying to find other like-minded people, everyone's just sharing the highlight reel. So, right now, as we're recording this, pretty much everyone in the window cleaning industry and lawn care, I'm sure too, and everywhere, their season's just now starting or it's about to start. It's springtime. And it's real easy to pull up Facebook and see people say, the phone won't stop ringing. Oh my God, I can't keep up with all the calls, And I'm sitting here, I'm looking at my board. We're a big, small company or a small, medium-sized company, but I've got about 62K on the books. We're 2/3 of the way through the month here. We can keep up with all the phone calls. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with me? But the same guys that want to brag about, I can't keep up with the calls are the ones that are calling us behind the scenes asking for help. And what sucks, I hope I'm kind of rabbit trailing here. And I know I'm just like dominating the beginning of this conversation.
Good. Keep going.
But what sucks about it is it's not, that person's not just faking it till you make it, if you will. Because what their goal most of the time is probably to put a strong front forward to help themselves with their own discouragement, their own fear and loneliness. But what happens is it communicates to every other person out there that's normal dealing with the struggles. Wow, I must suck because I could take a bunch of calls this month or this week or whatever. So the whole point being, Keith, you're a real guy. You've influenced me to be a real guy. And I always try to focus on, like the failures and the struggles, because I think that's what gives the real guys out there the wind in themselves. Even though you would think it would be the motivational talks do help. But whenever you can see the guy giving the motivational speech that had some tears in his eyes yesterday because someone kicked your dog or you yelled at your wife, the kids were stupid and you threatened them, or the customer doesn't want to pay you, or the quote unquote $99 guy keeps getting you down, it's real easy to turn into a bitch and ball up and quit. So I say all that to say, Keith, I fucking love you, bro. And I appreciate what you do and your impact in my life.
Bro, I don't even know what to say to that. You're welcome.
Yeah. And you're here in my freaking office and you sat in my chair. And it's like, I'm never going to wash this chair again. So for anyone that may not know, any of my listeners, they know you, but they might not. Who the hell's Keith Kalfas?
Nice. Keith Kalfas?
Never heard of him.
You're asking me?
I'm asking you. I just told people who I was.
Well, it's funny. There's this kind of Zen question. It's, who are you? Where are you? And what time is it? So if someone asks who you are, you say, well, I'm Keith Kalfas. It's, well, I didn't ask you what your name is. I said who you are. Okay, well, I'm a window cleaner. I'm a landscaper. I didn't ask you what you do. I said who you are. Like, who are you? And then you finally get down to, I am. I just am. And then the next question.
I feel like we should have all smoked something before we started our conversation. Or maybe I'm just late to the party. I don't know. But anyway, carry on.
They say, where are you? What do you mean? I'm in Orlando, Florida. I didn't ask you what state or city. Where are you? And finally you say, I'm here. Mm-hmm. I am here. I'm present. What time is it? Well, it's 12:27 p.m. I didn't say what the clock said. What time is it? And finally you get to the point where you're saying, the time is now. I am here now. And
so what's that mean? What's that mean?
Well, when I'm really trying to get out of ideology, and I was trapped in a lot of ideology growing up, and there's like Keith 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and these different versions of yourself keep you trapped from going to the next level, or quote unquote, don't be a bitch, don't be a victim, these type of thoughts. And I remember different times, 2011, 2014, especially 2016, breakthrough 2018, huge breakthrough 2020. And I was reaching out to you even, and you were on the phone saying, don't be a bitch.
Yeah.
Because
that's about all I do.
And so, dude, I'm just a dude out here hustling, chasing my dreams, trying to build literally an empire online and take my messaging to millions and millions of people. And I want to touch the whole world with my message and just fucking crush it, dude. And I'm not stopping. I'll keep going. And I have a message to be the bridge that helps guys get out of dead-end jobs, girls too, anybody, and start their own fucking business and build a 6-figure business off the sweat, blood, and tears when people are telling them they can't do it. And that's my message.
That's worthy of a fist bump right there. Boom. Wait, what was that?
I thought you were going to go like boom, boom, boom.
Well, no one saw that, but it was really awesome. So I appreciate that. I feel my street credit just went up. So, well, here's the problem with what you just said. That's exactly what I want to do. So now we're direct competitors and I must crush you. So
let's do it.
I don't think I can though. Quentin, so I see you do a lot of stuff with Keith. I think you've got a lot of stuff you do without him, but who the hell are you? We know you're here. We know it's now. And we know you are I am. But if you can do us a solid, what's that mean?
Well, I think I have a lot of the same DNA that you guys have. Being that I went through a bad divorce early 2004 and lost it all. I mean, I was making like $80,000. It wasn't a lot of money, but for a young guy, I was like 24.
That's a lot of money for a 24-year-old. And even today, $80K is a really good, that's like double the average salary of an adult. So that's good money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But I went through a divorce. And when I went through the divorce, I didn't have any like skills. Like I didn't have any skills for like to recover. Right. So I remember going door to door, knocking on people's doors that see me driving a nice car, nice Lexus, got repossessed. Everything got taken away. And I was in the same neighborhood. I strapped up. I remember putting the strap on a toolbox to go over my shoulder. I went door to door knocking. I'll do any service, anything you want, any odds and ends. I'll cut your grass, trim your bushes, anything. Right. And I went through this whole new development. Right. I was a young man that had pretty much lost his whole identity. Right. I thought I was what I did. So when I lost my job, I was working for FedEx at the time. FedEx Ground, and I was a contractor. So I didn't have any insurance. I didn't have any help. I didn't know you can draw unemployment, like nothing. So I was just out there. No family support at that time. And I remember just like being lost. And I said, what can I do that's an easy startup? And I said, I could clean. So I started my first cleaning company.
I didn't know you had cleaning companies. I just assumed you were the audio video guy, the movie maker. So
No. So when I started my cleaning company, I remember going to all my clients at the time. You know, I was a delivery guy. So I remember striking up conversations and saying, in case this job fails or this doesn't work out with FedEx, I'm going to see if I can make a contract or agreement with somebody like I can start a cleaning company for a backup. Thankfully, I started making those relationships months before all this happened. So I remember getting Bally Total Fitness. If you remember Bally Total Fitness. Yeah. That was my first like big contract. So I started doing that, still going through a divorce, still figuring out who I was. So anyway, long story short, I ended up getting a cleaning company started off the ground for a minute. And I remember doing it at apartment cleaning. That was the peak of it. Did apartment clean out. I was working for this large apartment that had like thousands of residents. And at the time, the economy was really, really good. So nobody cared about getting their deposit back. So they wouldn't clean up after they left. So they gave us a ton of stuff to clean. So we were doing like 5 or 6 a day and at like $75 a pop. So we were making pretty decent money. Yeah. Just me and my wife, maybe an employee or two, and paid all cash. And it was great. And then all of a sudden everything like stopped. I lost the contract and I was like, oh man, I'm the sales guy. I'm the worker. They want to see me at every job. You know how that is. You stretch so thin. And I didn't develop to the next level before that stage sort of dropped on me. So I was like, oh, I'm out here. So I had to redevelop myself, went back to school. Then that's when I went to film school. I was doing limo driving and stuff like that. And I went back to film school, got remarried. Yeah. Life started over. But I say I have a lot of DNA similar to you guys because all the stuff that people talk about at these conferences, I was right there. Like, I wish I had the resources. Yeah. I'd probably be cleaning next to Keith, like, or not cleaning, just lawn, whatever it was. Yeah. And that would have been great too. But
and what are you doing today? So
right now I'm doing films, commercials, promotionals, anything to help other businesses keep their image in front of clients and customers and consumers that polished, nice polished front.
Do you do events?
I do.
You got a team that you can bring?
No, usually just myself. Or if it's local, most times when it's local, I usually hire my friend who's a contractor who does, video work. Usually my son comes with me, my wife, whatever it may call for. We actually can produce whatever.
I need to talk to you offline. So the huge convention we're wanting to record everything.
Okay.
So let's talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But
Quentin's
that could
the
be cool.
man,
Yeah.
dude. Just look him up on Instagram, dude.
Yeah.
He filmed the whole movie. It's on Amazon Prime right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. Doing big projects, I'm sure you guys know.
What's the movie? We got to know what this movie is.
Neon Detroit Nights. It's like a mix between Back to the Future, Bad Boys, and Miami Vice.
Okay.
So like all mixed into one. So yeah, it was all shot downtown at night in Detroit.
That's the stuff I was talking about. Yeah, I saw some of it as you were making it.
Okay.
I saw you posted some of that stuff online. Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys know, anytime you take on a big project, it like everything that's attached to you is like a rocket ship. If it's not strapped down, it's going to shake it loose.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything went through my marriage, like everything attached to me.
Yeah.
Like I had to get everything more secure for the next launch. You know what I mean? Like the next launch you do, that taught me a lot. So yeah.
That's business, right? I'm actually working through reading again the book Traction. And this time, finally, I'm going to implement the EOS system. That's my Q2 goal this year. But that's the point is it's like, if you don't have it locked down, whether it's the buzzword of systemized or you don't have your SOPs in place and all that stuff, growth can be very damaging because it's kind of like the guys that selling watermelons on the side of the road and they're losing like 50 cents per watermelon. And one of them says, dude, how are we going to turn a profit? And the other one says, we're going to make it up on volume. So it's like when you got a mess in your business, more business is not a fix. We got to fix that stuff first. So it's good stuff. So I feel like I interrupted you there. I'm sorry. I don't feel like I did. I know I did.
No. You got me back on track. That's all.
Oh, so let's ask this for the sake of our audiences here. So there's 3 dudes here and I'm not rich. I'll tell you that. I'm not yet. I'm working on it, but I'm real happy with where I'm at in life. I've chased the entrepreneur thing. It's serving me and my family well. I'm pretty positive I can say the same about the 2 of you. Why are we doing this thing? I kind of shared my story at the beginning, but it's like I would raise my hand to this question. And Keith, you started early, so I think you guys didn't. But a lot of people like me won't start a business because we're a bitch. We're afraid. We're afraid of what might happen or, what have you. Why did you guys do it so early and why did it take me so damn long? What's wrong with people like me?
So early?
Well, yeah. I mean, how old were you? I was 38 years old before I started my business, ish.
Keith returns with more in just a moment. Have you been thinking that it's time to really market your business in a more effective manner? Keith has spent years testing tens of thousands of dollars on marketing and advertising, and he is just amazed that the 7 most powerful marketing strategies that he's ever found are surprisingly low cost and some are even free. He distilled down everything that he's learned into a 7-step guide and wants to give it to you for free. If you'd like to download the free guide, it's called 7 Steps to Marketing Your Business, then simply go to keithkalfas.com/7steps. That's keithkalfas.com/7steps. And of course, the link will be in the show description. Once again, here's Keith Kalfas.
I started mowing lawns and knocking on doors when I was like 14. I started a little lawn care route. And then again, when I was 15 or 16, we started again in a different neighborhood, a different friend of mine. And then that kind of failed. Another time when I was about 15, I started knocking on doors to clean windows, but I didn't have the confidence and I quit. And by the time I was 25, I started an Amazon business that I never talk about that failed miserably. My basement was all stocked with products. And I've been in a bunch of different multi-level marketing stuff like Amway and going around getting people into these different...
Was that stuff good for you? Or
oh, dude, it was amazing.
Yeah.
All the sales and marketing conferences and like they call it like a pyramid scam, but it's not. It's a real business. And I was stuck in dead-end jobs for 12 years, slaving away for other people and dreaming, listening to hundreds of books and conferences and Tony Robbins and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that actually got me to start a business all the way it took till I was 27 or 28 is when I got in a car accident with no car insurance and the car insurance company sued me for damages. And I had met my wife and got engaged and my back was so against the wall financially and I was so broken in debt that now I didn't have a choice but to start a business because I literally couldn't find a job that was going to pay me enough money with my current education or qualifications were nothing to be able to make enough money. So I started it. My nickname to my old boss was Side Job Keith. I was posting on Craigslist every night after work and I was going out all weekend. I'd work all day. I would literally come home sunburnt from a dead-end lawn care job, use the bathroom, scarf down some food, kiss my wife, exhausted. go straight back out till dark every single day, 100 hours a week. And I was able to get my business off the ground in 6 weeks is all it took to replace my income. And then I never looked back. It was pure terror that forced me to do it. And you said,
same here.
For me, it felt like it took forever because I come to these events and I meet these cats 21 years old doing $250,000.
Yep.
And I didn't have access to YouTube or any of that type of stuff. Like Quentin was saying back then, I wish I did, man. Because I was listening to Tony Robbins and all these guys talking about these multi-million-dollar businesses and real estate, and that stuff was frustrating me. Because I said, who is talking to the brand new guy just getting started? That's how I became Keith Kelfus. Because cool. I became the guy who came out and talked about the startup struggles. So, but yeah.
That's good. You know, for me, like I said, I was just, tell you what's funny. I was just having this conversation, you know, Michael Hinderleiter.
Just saw him this morning.
Yeah, he actually spent the morning with me here. This has been a great day for me. I got to hang out with Michael this morning and now my hero, Keith, my new best friend, Quentin over here. This is good stuff. But Michael, he had grown, for anyone that doesn't know, you can go to powerwash.com and that's Michael Hinderleiter's domain. But he's a very successful entrepreneur and he's got multiple businesses. And I was talking to him and I said, you know, you probably don't get it. And he agreed with me. I said, you probably don't see the fear or the scary part of starting a business because your dad was an entrepreneur and you grew up in it. And so there's probably this disconnect. And he goes, no, there absolutely is. He goes, when I hear people talk about that, he goes, it's a very foreign concept because it's all he ever knew. But like, you're a dude that essentially didn't know your elbow from your asshole as far as business and you replaced your income in 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
And we essentially did the same. I didn't replace my income, but we provided for ourselves instantly. You know, right away, we were able to keep the lights on. And when you haven't crossed over, because that was just a little over 4 years ago for me. When you haven't crossed over yet, and all you've known, when the system teaches you, you work really hard and you get promotions and hopefully you invested in your 401k and if you do a really good job in life, you can enjoy the last 10 years if you live that long, you know, and whether that's the plan or not, that's what happens to us. And I don't want to empathize with victims because I'm all about don't being a victim. But the fact is we're all kind of victims of this system. And I'm saying this right now because I know somebody is listening to this podcast that wants to be an entrepreneur. They want to start their own business, but they do have that fear. The crazy thing is it's really, really easy to replace a basic income doing anything. You can pick up dog poop and replace an average income. It's not so easy to build a business that is independent of you. But if you just don't want to work for someone else, that part's actually really easy as long as you're cool with rejection and as long as you're cool with busting your ass for a while to get over that hump. I mean, you always got to bust it, but it's kind of like the airplane getting off the ground. You know, that first part, the hardest part.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, that's why I dream, like when I was a little kid, I would daydream about owning a business, not even knowing what that looked like. It was just kind of like where my head always was, but I'd never had the guts to do it. And now that I've done it, I'm like, what the hell was wrong with me? You know, it's like you look back, it's like, how much time did I waste making other people rich instead of achieving my own goals, my own dreams, and being able to hang out at Disney World a couple days a week and the cigar bar the rest. That's cool stuff.
It's very interesting when you have a service-based business because there's always somebody. And if there's not, you just haven't networked with them yet or found out how to get that person to connect. They're always ready to write a check. Please, I need you. I've been looking for you. Please. I mean, you have so many people calling you and begging you to take their money to come, quote unquote, clean their stuff or provide that service that a service business is. I mean, dude, there's 2 books I read that made me have a breakthrough when I was starting my business. One, Mark Victor Hansen, who's one of the authors of all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. They wrote a book called Cash in a Flash.
Okay. Never heard that one.
It was a fun read. I gobbled up this entire book. It was a couple hundred pages, but Spencer Howard Johnson has a book called Who Moved My Cheese.
I've never read that. I've heard it recommended so many times and I've never read it.
I could tell you.
I'm not a big reader. I read books, but it's a chore for me. Even audio is kind of tough for me.
So people are terrified of rejection and things like that. If I could talk about who moved your cheese, if you throw some mice inside of a maze and you put cheese in a corner, they'll go and they'll find it and they'll eat the cheese. When the cheese is gone, the mice will bump their heads up against the wall for a couple minutes and then, where's the cheese? Oh, I guess it's gone. So they'll bounce. They'll just keep looking around the maze and they'll keep looking until they find more cheese. And that's the pattern of a mice. And God made mice, let's just say. And when you put humans in a maze and you do the same thing, it could be a job, it could be cash, it could be opportunity. When that thing is gone, they don't usually wake up and say, oh, it's gone. Okay, well, let's go look somewhere else for opportunity. They'll literally start banging their head against the wall until they go insane and starve to death and die in that corner.
Yeah.
And so we've been trained and conditioned in a job to go find another job. Like the rejection of entrepreneurship, of getting turned down all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I think people are terrified. They think they're going to starve to death. And until you can get to a point where you turn on your deal flow and you understand marketing advertising, it's just a faucet.
You know what people don't realize, like on this not starting your own business thing, is because there's that fear of, well, can I provide for myself? Can I grow this thing? Well, if you're that one listener that's like on the edge I want to do it, but I'm scared. It's like, who do you think is growing these businesses? It's you. It's just someone else is getting the profit from it. So you're the guy that's already growing the business anyway. You might as well grow it for yourself instead of just growing it for someone else. And I think failure is looked at the wrong way. Failure, I always looked at it as such a negative, where in reality, I made a post that it popped up on my memories on Facebook the other day. It's kind of a silly post looking back at it, but it's still the truth. And I said, I never thought I would say this, but failure is a part of my plan now. And I used to be scared of it, but now all I realize is every time I fell, that means I was pushing to get to a goal and I found a way not to do it. And that's okay. Every time I do like a presentation live, I say we need to be like the raptors from Jurassic Park. Do you know where I'm going on that or no?
Keep going. I'm absorbing.
We need to be like the raptors from Jurassic Park, where the original movie. So I'm old enough to remember that. I went to the movie theater and saw it because I'm an old son of a bitch. But there's a part, you don't even see the scene, but they talk about it. And they say the raptors were trying to get out of the electric fence area and they were systematically attacking the fence. They said, okay, there's a fence. It's electrified. Let's see if that part's weak. And they would run and they would hit the fence and they'd get shocked. And that was their failure. That was, okay, I found out this is not where I can get through the fence. And then they backed up and they redirected about a degree. And then they ran forward and they hit the fence a couple feet over, got shocked, learned another way not to do it, backed up, redirected, wash, rinse, repeat. Guess what? They eventually found the weakness. And it's not to say that we should not educate ourselves and learn from other people. Michael Hinderleiter was saying today, a smart person will learn from his own mistakes and a wise person will learn from other people's. So let's learn from other people's mistakes. However, we're still going to have some of our own, and don't look at failure as that bad thing. I'm still talking to you, you entrepreneur, the one entrepreneur that's listening to this episode. Failure is a good thing. You're going to fail. You're the guy that's already building the business anyway. You're just making the other person rich. Be cool with the failure. Don't worry about what other people see from the outside, and keep attacking the fence until you find the weakness and then break through that son of a bitch and live your dream. And then I think I almost misspoke at the end. The attacking the fence, the failure is a part of the dream, because when you start your own business, you have more stresses than you have in someone else's business, because every problem is now your problem. But I think the key word is your problem. It's yours. It's not your problem, but it really belongs to the jackass in the corporate office halfway across the country that's unhappy with the number on the spreadsheet. It's yours. It's worth it. Now it is my monkeys and my circus. And so it's okay. It's worth turning around and managing because it's part of the dream. And so I'm going to quote a great philosopher and then I'll let you speak, Keith, because I'm dominating. The great philosopher, Miley Cyrus, it's the climb. It's not about the peak. It's about the climb. It's about the valleys and everything in between it.
It's the climb. Yeah. I want to back up about what you were saying. This tendency that I had, this changed my life also, was I was looking at everything in all or none. In absolutes, I was thinking, and black or white, all or none. It's soaking wet or bone dry. What I mean by that is, I think this is bad programming, because getting around guys like you and getting around to live events and getting around multiple 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs started teaching me the theories of like split testing. Let's say, for instance, you want to raise your prices. Well, if you get a couple clients in a row that are cheap, or you undercut a job, you underquote a job and you work very, very hard and you make barely anything, and you're so upset and you're driving back in your truck and the sun is, and you've got bills coming in, and that stress will get to you, and you might form a belief that that's all that exists. That's what's going on. There's no money out here. What do you mean? I've already tried. You be a bitch. And you start thinking, no, I've already tried. I've gone to the rich neighborhoods. I've done this. I've done the marketing, and all these people are so effing cheap, and I can't compete with it. Like, there you go. You're creating a story of why it doesn't work, because you think you have real data, and you do have data.
You have some real data.
You have some real data.
But you need to watch Star Wars, bitch.
Tell me.
Oh, it's real simple. Yoda fixed it. Everyone knows it. Don't try this thing. You do it. You do or you do not. Keith, okay, I interrupted you again. Is it cool interrupting?
No, you picked right up on what I was putting down.
Okay.
So go on.
Well, okay. So in the corporate world, I had a lot of different roles. I was a sales manager. I was an operations manager. Then I was a general manager, and then I was a VP over a region and all this stuff. And I managed a lot of salespeople. A lot for me. I probably had 20 plus sales guys at any one given time, which by the way sucks because salespeople are not fun to manage. But because bad ones are bad ones and good ones are the hardest people on the planet to lead because they're divas, you know. But the reason I'm bringing them up, I was in 2 markets in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. The Tulsa market had the best sales team on the freaking planet. It was number 1 in the country. They were amazing. Oklahoma City was really good, just not nearly as good as the other one. So guess what would happen when I'm in Oklahoma City talking to those guys? You don't understand. It's different here. That's the key phrase. You don't understand. It's different here. We don't have whatever it is the guys in Tulsa have.
Oh, you're getting on that Tommy Mello shit now.
I haven't heard Tommy talk about this, but if he talks about this, I'm all on board with that. And then I'd go to Tulsa and say, hey guys, you wouldn't want them to improve 50% because they're the best. Like, hey, we need a 10% increase. You don't understand, Bob. It's different here. We're so good, we've saturated the market, which is a bunch of BS because guess what? There's 30 other security companies that are still around. So nothing's saturated. You're not special and you can be better. And then that life for a long time dealing with that frustration, I relocate down to South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, take over a new area that we're trying to turn around. Guess what their sales team told me? Exact words, shit you don't understand. It's different here. Then I relocate to Virginia and I have an office in Norfolk and an office in Richmond. Can you guess what both sales teams said about each other and in reference to all the other sales teams I've led? You don't understand it's different here. Getting to the point is you're not special, sweetheart. Your market's not different. Your market doesn't suck. You suck and you're blaming it on your market. And we try these things. We try it. We've quote unquote proven it doesn't work, but then someone else in your market's doing it. I'll use one more example and then I'll try to get to the real meat here, but Google reviews. I'm pretty damn good at that. I got about 600 reviews. We've been in business for a little over 4 years. We're doing really, really good.
600.
I teach people how to get Google reviews. And I have people tell me, that doesn't work where I'm at. I can pull my phone out. I'll say, what city do you live in? I live in such and such city. I can pull my phone out and I can find God knows how many businesses that have been left Google reviews. So the problem again is not your market. It's you. So when these people do these things that you're talking about and they go out there and they try it and what have you, that's the key word is they tried it. And my philosophy, my internal mentality when I'm doing things, like if I was trying clip flyers, which is a real controversial way of marketing, always sparks arguments and debates online. When I'm trying whatever, I say to myself, I'm going to prove that this thing doesn't work before I ever quit.
Wait, hey, quick plug. Actually, Bobby Walker is inside of my business marketing blueprint online course. It's keithkelfis.com/BMB. And he teaches his strategy about positive 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
I just thought of that just now.
It's good stuff,
it's
actually.
Really good, dude.
It works.
600 reviews. Dude, you're making me see something right now about taking ownership.
Yeah.
Taking ownership of whatever that thing you perceive to be a problem, or taking ownership of your marketing or your 5-star review system. If someone hears about it, yeah, that's a good idea. I'd like to try that. Oh, that sounds hard. I'm too busy. And it goes down the stream. It doesn't get implemented and baked into the business. So quick question. You're a huge student and you've been to a lot of conferences. You're friends with a lot of these top guys that are even business coaches. Yep. How do you make the time to expand without burning out your bandwidth to integrate new things in? Do you say this quarter we're going to do this and next how are you moving so quickly and allotting time and energy not only to put it in, but you have to learn and ingest this stuff and understand it, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's actually a pretty simple answer. First off, there's a good book. You only need to read the first half of it. It's called The 12-Week Year.
The 12-week year?
Yep. I think I have it here, but I can't remember. But
is that Dan Sullivan?
I can't, honestly, I don't think it is, but I can't remember the author. I can't remember the author. And then I use this planner that's not made by the same guy, but it's called the Full Focus Planner.
Michael Hyatt. But
the two philosophies are the same, which is, I'll try to keep this answer real short. As humans, we can't really stay focused for a year, but we're trained to set annual goals and yada, 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 and, reach for the stars. And it's why gyms love January because they get all this money and then no one shows up after the second or third week because we set these big ass goals. And then when you fail once or twice, it feels like you're just way too far behind now for a year. So it's really kind of a trick to help your mind stay focused. But I've adopted through Business Bourbon and Bullshit Mastermind.
BBB.
Yeah, that I'm a part of and you've been to. We plan out our quarters and that has helped a lot. So what we do is every quarter we look at some basic things like what are we going to eliminate completely? What tasks and what people are we going to eliminate? What tasks and people are we going to delegate? What new entrepreneurial ideas are we going to add to our lives this quarter? What new projects, what processes are we going to revamp, so on and so forth. But we don't overload ourselves. So anywhere from 3 to 7 is probably the sweet spot on what we call success criteria. You could call it a goal, but we say it's our success criteria. If we achieve these things in quarter X was a success. And then you keep it real short, sweet and simple. And then it's incremental growth. And then a mindset that I'm working really hard to adopt and I'm getting better at that Mike Dahlke always beats me over the head about is focus on the gain, not the gap. So you're not going to achieve every goal every quarter. And you're probably not going to achieve every goal any quarter. Probably not all of them. So don't beat yourself up on the gap. Oh, I didn't get to the finish line. That's the gap. But the gain, it was a 100-yard race. We got 90 yards down the field. We achieved 90 yards of progress, but we're beating ourselves up because we were 10 yards short. Well, what if we achieved 90 yards of progress every quarter? What if we developed one new habit every quarter? What if we delegated one significant task a quarter? 2 years down the road, life's a lot different and a lot better. So the key, I think, is a quote Dave Ramsey loves. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So breaking it down into bite-sized stuff, because once we plan our quarter, the planners that we talk about, we use the full focus planner. It helps us break it down into the weekly and the daily. So now every day, which I was lazy today, I didn't make a big 3 for my day, but every day I write down the 3 big tasks that I need to achieve my weekly goals. And my weekly goals point towards my quarterly goals, and the quarterly goals point towards the long-term goals.
So take all that and then combine that with the who, not how.
Yeah.
Because you can't do all that stuff yourself. You have to find people to help you.
That goes to the elimination and the delegation part. Effective leaders, you and I have both struggled with it. Just being a friend looking on the outside in is probably one of your bigger struggles. And I know you've solved a lot of it lately, but delegation. It's so easy to do it yourself. It's actually really hard to do it yourself, but it's so easy to get trapped into feeling like you got to do it yourself. So I think a sign of a great leader is a great delegator.
Another big understanding. I'm a numbers guy. I love to sit down. A Sunday morning, I'll pop open a sketchbook. I've got my QuickBooks, my P&L statements. I'll look at my media business. They got 2 different businesses. And I'm looking what's the revenue coming in? What do I want to, like this year, I want to hit $500,000 in revenue in 2020.
Nice.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And totally believe I can do it. But I have to obviously increase a lot of sales and blow the doors off with the marketing. Right. Mm-hmm. And then once the process is down, it's going to be fine. What I'm saying here is... Maybe
I can refresh your memory.
Yeah.
I was talking about delegation and the struggling of you feeling like you got to do it all yourself and good leader is a delegator. Yeah.
So I'll look at my service business. I'm like, wait a second. We're operating a 35% net profit with me not so much working of everything in the field, but I'm still in the field every day. I'm talking to customers and I'm selling. I'm setting up the guys so they know, getting them the tools that they need. I'll jump in and I'll help them start the job. I run around and I come back, and if I have to hop in, I'm a firefighter in my business. And I say, oh my God, if I go out and hire this key man that I need to make right now, because I got office support, but I need a dedicated office manager and a dedicated key man.
Yep.
There goes all my profit. I'm never going to make any money. That's why I'm not going to make any money now. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to triple my business just to make my salary back, because I pay myself a salary. And as I talk to business owners that have been through all this shit, they're like, no, you don't lose you're not just going to be broke. Your profit margins are going to drop down to maybe 13% or to 18% or 9%. Mm-hmm. And when you're measuring that ratio, it's not all or none. That's what I was thinking. Oh my God, I'm going to be broke.
Yep.
That doesn't even fucking make any sense. It's no, the numbers are going to change, but I'll be freed up. And I have to, because my media business is so busy now. We have a 66% profit margin of that.
Nice.
There's no bottleneck of physical deliverable and all the payroll. It's all virtual assistants and stuff like that, which they get paid as contractors and they're part-time. But I'm actually talking this out right now. But what I'm seeing is I'm stepping back and I have to create these quote unquote systems and frameworks. And it was really a struggle last year, but I was able to pull it off until I got the right people in place. Mm-hmm. And now they're settled in. Like, you don't just hire somebody and then immediately your problem solved. It actually gets worse until they learn what they're doing and you get it all down and you find the right...
Well, especially at first.
Yeah.
Now, once you've got systems in place, you can hire someone and almost from day one, life is better if you've got your training stuff in place and what have you. But when it's your first hire or your first couple of hires, life sucks. You're like, why'd I do this?
And I miss the days of being able to just throw on my headphones and listen to books and work. But now for me to go do the work, that's insanity to me.
Yep.
I don't have time to do it because you got the $10 an hour work, $100 work, $1,000 an hour work. And I finally am starting to be able to identify what $1,000 an hour work looks like. And I'm in the middle of closing a big client right now. That's $1,000 an hour work. I'm in the middle of tweaking the marketing to make more leads flowing. Me going out and picking up shrub trimmers or a squeegee is not $1,000 an hour work.
No.
And if you get yourself in a position where you're stuck doing all of that, then you actually never get to the $1,000 an hour, where you might get to it 1 hour a week or something. And I learned this stuff from Dan Sullivan too. And I have a long, long way to go. And that's why I'm around you guys.
Yeah. Well, don't we all, right? I don't know, Keith. This has been, again, it's real poetic for me to be getting to sit here and hang out with you and do this thing. Being an entrepreneur is a cool thing. And like I said, even all these struggles and stuff, it's like the beauty of it is like, as you're working on it, you're working on you. As you're fixing the problem, you're fixing your problems. You're not fixing other people's problems. I think that's the beauty of it for me. That's why I love it is she may not be pretty, but she's mine. And I love it. I don't know. I wish I had another good movie reference for you, but I think Raptors and Yoda were good enough.
One last thing I want to say, we checked into our hotel here in Orlando. And usually if we're somewhere for a week, I'm Ubering or getting a rental car going to the grocery store. I need a case of water. We need stuff to make sandwiches. I want some of my Honey Nut Cheerios. Yeah. And I was carrying the groceries, dragging them in. When you get off a plane and you're hustling, busting through airports and you check in your hotel, you just want to take a shower and sit the fuck down for a minute.
Yeah.
And when you don't get that, so I'm pulling all the groceries, and sometimes you ever pull groceries and then it's falling out of the bags and the mayonnaise rolls or something. And I was like huffing and puffing, and I started to be a bitch getting into our hotel room. I was like, wait a second. I caught myself quick this time. I'm like, wait a second. I'm being a victim. I'm living my dreams. Yep. I'm on vacation right now. My wife and my dogs are with me. I'm the keynote speaker at this event.
Yeah. And I dropped mayonnaise and I'm being a bitch about it.
Yeah, in that instant reframe. And that's why it's so important to have these people in your life that can, what does an expert get paid for? Their perspective. That's really what they get paid for. To have these people in your life that have gone through all this, they can turn your perspective around in 2 seconds and make you see your problem as an opportunity. I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you, man.
Yeah, love you, bro. Listen, I could talk for hours, but I know you've got stuff to do with the event here. But Keith, before we sign off, where do my people need to go to learn more about you?
Yeah, you can hit me up on YouTube is the best way to find me. We just hit 100,000 subscribers, 25 million views. My podcast, Untrapped Podcast, on all major platforms, hit 250,000 downloads. Come check that out. We're on Instagram at Keith Kalfas. But if you just type in my name, KeithKalfas on YouTube, pop right up. Thousands of videos to watch. Check me out. And then my website is keithkalfas.com.
That's good. And then for me, Journey of a New Entrepreneur on YouTube or Facebook. It's not a pretty website because I made it myself. Eventually I'll upgrade it, but you can go to nobitchzone.com and you can find my YouTube and my podcast and all that stuff on there. But everything's called Journey of a New Entrepreneur. So to all of the Keith Kalfas people out there, guys, you're lucky to be one of his listeners. I'm one of his listeners. And Keith, such an honor to do something else with you again. Every time we talk, I love it. It just kind of flows. It's not work. You know, I don't know. I think we're on the same wavelength and I appreciate it. And I'll sign off with this unless you got something else, because that's what I always say at the end is if you're not doing the things that you want to do in life, you better have a damn good reason for it. But if you're not pursuing those things, there's no good reason for it. Peace.
It's good. Peace.
Peace.